Good morning, children. Welcome back to English class. Today we will learn a poem written by David Roth. Near textbook, the 10th poem. Okay, page number 37. Now, the poem 9 Gold Medals, written by David Roth. See, in this poem, David Roth describes a sports event named Special Olympics, and this Special Olympics is meant for the differently abled people. Okay, we'll come to that later. First, we'll talk about the poet. Okay, I think you might know this poet because his songs and his rock band is very famous. Okay, he's the lead singer of California-based hard rock band Van Halen. I think you might have heard about this. Okay, so you can see David Roth. Okay, so he is a vocalist and a songwriter. Okay, and his passion for music was visible even when he was a child. And his famous works, okay, are a different kind of truth, and then Crazy from the Heat, and in 1988 he released Skyscraper, and then Just Like Paradise, okay, and Can't Get This Stuff No More, and Me Voice Magic. These are all famous. Okay, you can listen to his song. Even the poem that we are going to learn is a song. Okay, you can hear that. Very beautiful lyric. Now, about the title 9 gold medals. Okay, now actually a gold medal is given to the first winner. Okay, the one who performs best. But here the poem is titled as 9 gold medals. We'll see whether all the participants were awarded gold medals and why. Okay, so the title is 9 gold medals. Okay, so this poem stresses the importance of sharing and caring in human lives rather than just winning and achieving. Okay, so he celebrates the human values as kindness, cooperation, and empathy in the poem. Now, if we look at the themes, okay, the themes of the poem, that is, just now I have told you, it celebrates the human values pertaining to kindness, cooperation, and empathy. And the second theme is that the true spirit of sportsmanship. Now, I think we see in the lesson, my greatest Olympic prize, we came across the same theme, that is the true spirit of sportsmanship. Do you remember what is this true spirit of sportsmanship? Yes, I hope you remember. It implies that a sports activity should be enjoyed for its own sake with consideration for fairness, respect, and sense of fellowship with one's own competitors. Okay, that's what the true spirit of sportsmanship. So these are the two themes that the poet wants to convey through this poem, that is celebration of human values, and the second one, the true spirit of sportsmanship. Now, the poem is set, or it is like an imaginary incident that happened during the Special Olympics. Okay, during the Special Olympics, and we'll see the poem. Okay. If you have the textbook, you can take page number 37. 9 gold medals. The athletes had come from so many countries to run for the gold, for the silver, and bronze. Many weeks and months in training, all building up to the games. All round the field, spectators were gathered, cheering on all the young women and men. Then the final event of the day was approaching, the last race about to begin. The loudspeakers called out the names of the runners, the 100 meters, the race to be run, and 9 young athletes stood there determined and poised for the sound of the gun. The signal was given, the pistol exploded, and so did the runners on hearing the sound. But the youngest among them stumbled and staggered, and he fell on his knees to the ground. He gave out a cry of frustration and anguish. His dreams and his efforts dashed in the dirt. But as sure as I'm standing here telling the story, now it's a strange one, but here's what occurred. So, this line, but as sure as I'm standing here telling the story, this line tells us that the narrator also witnessed. The narrator also was there witnessing this event. Okay. So this is a very interesting poem. At the same time, it's very simple. Okay. The athletes had come from so many countries to run for the gold, for the silver, and bronze. Okay. See, the Special Olympics, that is actually conducted for the differently abled people. Okay. So we should not say disabled, but the differently abled athletes. Okay. And this it is conducted by the Special Olympics organization. Okay. Now we'll see the first answer. The athletes had come from so many countries to run for the gold, for the silver and bronze. Many weeks and months in training, all building up to the games. So several athletes here, the athletes, the differently abled athletes, okay, they came from all over the, or it is said from many countries, okay, from many countries. That means all over the world. Why did they come there? To run for the gold and silver and bronze. So they came there to take part or participate in the Special Olympics and win gold, silver, or bronze. That is, what do you understand from gold and the silver and bronze? Okay, these are the materials with which the medals are made of. Okay, the gold medal is given to the first winner, and the silver medal is given to the person who comes second, and bronze to the third. Many weeks and months in training, all building up to the games. So these athletes had spent many weeks and months, maybe, okay, many weeks and months in strenuous training, okay, strenuous training, and all building up for the games. That means they were just preparing for this games. All of them wanted to win a gold medal for their country. So that's what the first answer tells. I hope you understood. Okay, see the second stanza. All round the field, spectators were gathered, cheering on all the young women and men. Then the final event of the day was approaching, the last race about to begin. So all round the field, spectators were gathered. Okay, so what do you mean by spectators? Spectators means the people who came to watch these games, watch the games and the sports events. All around the field there were spectators. A lot of spectators were gathered there, cheering on all the young women and men. Now, what were they doing? They were cheering. That means encouraging. They were cheering and encouraging all the young men, young women and men. Now, these young women and men, they were the participants of different sports and games. Then the final event of the day was approaching, the last race about to begin. Now almost all the events had finished and only one event is left. So all were excited to watch this. Then the final event of the day was approaching, the last race about to begin. That was the last running race. Okay, that was the last event of the day. All the other events finished, and the last event was the 100 meters race. Okay, so what were the spectators doing? The second stanza. What do you find there? The spectators were encouraging the young sports men and women. Okay, so what were they excited about? They were excited about the final event of the day that they were just waiting for. See the third stanza. The loudspeakers called out the name of the runners, the 100 meters, the race to be run. So now the spectators could hear the names of the runners being called out through the loudspeakers. The names of the runners were announced through the loudspeakers. The loudspeakers called out the names of the runners, the 100 meters, the race to be run. So what was the last event? It is the 100 meters race that is going to take place immediately. The 100 meters race to be run. And 9 young athletes stood there determined and poised for the sound of the gun. So, how many participants were there for this particular event? How many were there? Yes, there were 9 young athletes. So, they all stood at the starting point. How determined? All were determined to win a gold medal. And 9 young athletes stood there determined and poised for the sound of the gun. See, if you have watched the running race, you can now remember, okay, the runners, how they stand there at the starting point, because they will be very alert and they will be just waiting for the signal. When they hear the gunshot, immediately they will start their race. So all stood there determined and poised for the sound of the gun. All and poised. Poised means ready or balanced. All ready for the sound of the gun. So before beginning the race, they will get a signal, that is a gunshot. Okay, a firing of the gun, a gunshot will be heard. That is a signal for the runners to start their race. Okay, so I'll read the third stanza again. The loudspeakers called out the name of the runners, the 100 meters, the race to be run. So what is the event that is going to take place, or what was the last event? The event was the 100 meters race. And 9 young athletes stood there determined and poised for the sound of the gun. The next stanza. The signal was given. The pistol exploded, and so did the runners on hearing the sound. But the youngest among them stumbled and staggered, and he fell on his knees to the ground. Okay. So, what does the fourth stanza tell? The signal was given, the pistol exploded. So, there was the gunshot. Okay, the pistol was fired. So that was the signal given to the runners to start their race. And so did the runners on hearing the sound. So, hearing the pistol shot, the runners started their race. But, see, what happened? The youngest among them stumbled and staggered, and he fell on his knees to the ground. So an unfortunate thing happened as soon as the race began. What happened? The youngest among them, the youngest athlete among the 9, stumbled. Okay, he just stumbled he hit the food on something. Okay, like he just stumbled, as if sometimes we may stumble and fall, as if our food hit on something, we just stumble. Okay, so here the youngest athlete just stumbled and staggered. Okay, that means when he stumbled, he was just like moved unsteadily, that means about to fall, there's no balance. Okay, so the youngest athlete stumbled and then staggered, he moved unsteadily, and finally what happened, and he fell on his knees to the ground. And he fell on his knees to the ground. He gave out a cry of frustration and anguish. His dreams and his efforts dashed in the dirt. But as sure as I'm standing here telling the story, now it's a strange one, but here's what occurred. So this particular athlete, that means the youngest athlete who fell down, what happened, or what, he gave out a cry of frustration and anguish. Okay, so anguish, that is extreme pain and grief, and cry of frustration. Why? His dreams and his efforts dashed in the dirt. To realize that his dreams are all dashed, or now he won't be able to achieve his dream. His dreams and his efforts, all his efforts for months, he was training himself just to participate in this special Olympics, and his dreams and his efforts dashed in the dirt. Okay, but as sure as I'm standing here telling the story, so it is sure that the narrator is witnessing this event. As sure as that, what happened? Now it's a strange one, but here's what occurred. Just like the narrator standing there and witnessing this, something had happened there, as clear as like the poet witnessed. Okay, something strange. It was a strange thing. That means nobody expected, something unexpected, or something, yes, nobody had expected happened there. And but here's what occurred. This is what had happened there at the moment. When did it happen? When the youngest of the athletes fell down. When he fell down, he gave out a cry of frustration and anguish. At that time, something strange had happened, because nobody ever expected this to happen, because it is a competition and everybody wants to win. So today I'll take up to this stanza, that is in your in your textbook, the page number 37. The next page I'll take in the next class. Okay, so before closing this lesson, uh, okay, let me ask a few questions. Okay, what did you understand from um, the words all and all coming down to these games? Okay, are all building up to the games, all building up to the games. That means, okay, all these athletes worked hard, and they had undergone strenuous training to participate in this Special Olympics. Okay. Cheering on all young women and men. Okay, what did you understand from this line? So the spectators were all encouraging the young sports men and women. Which final event is talked here, is being talked here, and what was the mood of the spectators? Okay, so the final event being talked here is the 100 meters race, okay, in which 9 young athletes were participating. Okay, so all the spectators, they were so excited. Okay, during the race, when the race started, okay, what what happened? So when the runners heard the pistol shot, everyone started the race. But the smallest of the 9 athletes had a bad luck. He stumbled, lost his balance, and fell on the track. Okay, and he was so much frustrated. He was disappointed, and he felt as if all his dreams and efforts of winning the medal had been shattered. No more hope. Okay, so this is what happened. At this time, a strange thing occurred. Okay, we'll learn that in the next class. Okay, children, please read the poem thoroughly. It's a very simple poem. So read this 5 stanzas, or the stanzas I taught today, and please be thorough with that. Then only whatever questions is asked, you may be able to answer the questions. Okay, so one extract will be asked from the poem, but the 16 marks, all these 4 or 5 questions will cover the whole poem. Okay, one question will be from the beginning, like, okay, so all those 4 or 5 questions will be covering the whole poem. So please be thorough with the whole poem. Okay, we'll see in the next class.